This week's seen the political environment becoming charged with probing questions, obfuscation, denials and counterclaims about who is to blame for a series of decisions that expose the community to the risk of increased infection by the virus that causes COVID-19. In many senses, it's been a return to a combination of blame shifting, political point scoring and evasions that tend to characterise politics as usual. Well, some people will see in all of this the proper operation of democratic institutions. However, for many Australians, the twisting and turning that has become a normal part of the political dance is somewhat sickening, when what they really want is straight answers and a level of responsibility from leaders that at least matches what they demand from the community. In all of this, it's easy to miss some subtle but important distinctions between three concepts: accountability, responsibility, and culpability or blameworthiness. Now, while we are always accountable to someone else, we are responsible for what we do. Accountability depends on there being some individual or group to whom one owes an account. So in the absence of anyone to hold you to account, the obligation falls away. However, one's responsibility for what is said or done, it carries on, even if there is no one to monitor your conduct, no one to hold you to account. Of course, the two concepts are not mutually exclusive. One can be both responsible for what one does and also accountable for those actions. Well, while we can be accountable or responsible for the things we do, whether they're good or bad, the concept of culpability only applies when the thing done is wrong and when we are deserving of blame. For the most part, this assumes that we've had some choice in the matter, that we are able to discern right from wrong, which is why current debates about the age of criminal responsibility are so important, that our acts or omissions can be directly linked to the wrongful act. Culpability, it's often linked to intention, but not always. We can merit blame for being reckless or indifferent, for the wrongs done, even if they were not deliberately intended. This can extend to cases where we are ignorant or mistaken, especially those cases where we should and could have known better, merely as a result of making a reasonable effort. Which brings me to the issue of ministerial responsibility. By convention, ministers are responsible for all that is done by and within their department, whether they specifically authorise the conduct or even know about it. At one level, this is patently unrealistic and unfair. I mean, how can a minister ever know the full expanse of what is done in their name? Yet, our system of democracy absolutely depends on the essential fiction that they do know and that they remain responsible even when they are not personally culpable for what has happened. So when politicians break the conventions of ministerial responsibility and try to wriggle off the hook by claiming ignorance or avoidable error or by blaming others, it tarnishes them in the eyes of the community and invites censure of a kind reserved for cowards and con artists. There's a fine line between proclaiming one's innocence and denying all responsibility, especially when it comes to the conventions that are supposed to underpin our democracy. So let me ask you, when it comes to ethical issues, how and where do you draw the line?